keeping it dry. That's unnatural. It's a man-made device doing that. Gets blown up, it returns. At the same time, data centers get built rapidly, and everything just suddenly runs dry. Both are completely unnatural, but that it's happening simultaneously is just crazy. And I mean, from a religious perspective, it's even more bizarre. Not in a traditional sense, but I mean, I've been saying from the start, like, yeah, Iran has the high ground because of their conduct, how honorable they are, and they never like start assaults. They always just respond, retaliate, and they're sticking to it, and they're keeping the high ground. America, of course, we all know what happened. It was super ugly, arguably evil. Some people say like the whole girls' school getting blown up is like a satanic ritual, and I mean, I've seen more stuff about it, and it's not like it's undeniable, but I mean, you can't deny that it's really jarring, like how it happened and like where they aimed it, and of course with Israel being involved indirectly, at least with that one. It's just super ugly, and it's like, it's definitely not the high ground. It is a terror tactic, which is typically what Israel would do. They don't give a shit about high ground. They just like fuck everything up and then keep pushing it. But yeah, America does not have the high ground. Iran has the high ground, and then pretty much right after, for all this to happen, like America runs dry, the floodgates are open in Iran. I mean, you gotta take pause for a second there and just think like, yeah, you can all trace it back as to like, oh, this is man-made causes, but I mean, if you just like let that go for a bit and just look at like God and how God would biblically like respond to things, and the importance of a moral high ground and doing the right thing when you're in power, etc., and God's response to that, well, then it also fits in that. It's magical in a way, but you gotta wonder, like, it's like somebody on the other side trying to make a point. Because I doubt that God would literally like make a point like that, send a message, but it is almost like the game master of the game, the whole thing behind the scenes, theoretically. I'm not saying this is literal. It's metaphorical. Like the controller, the one who's like guiding the game, the geopolitical game and everything, and how it all plays out. The game master is just like having a teaching moment for the players, like, see, this is how it works. It feels like that. Like, in the game, there's just like, oh, see, this happens, that happens, this happens, that happens. It's the opposite. Like to force that learning moment even through the thickest of skulls, kind of like for people that really don't pay much attention, it still would be understood as soon as they look at it. It's so basic, right? And that's interesting to me, and gives me the feeling like there's the game master of the geopolitical game in the background is like laying down how things work, like in the play, doing teaching moments in the play. And I mean, why do I recognize it? Because that's what I do when I'm game mastering. That's exactly what I do. Like, I find those moments, like, to reveal the mechanisms of the place that's being simulated, to give the players a good feel of, like, how it is intuitively, like what it resembles, what it represents, and like that there is such a thing as like God is watching and there's a response. Like if you like the deities in Dungeons and Dragons, even though it's of course very pantheonic and all that and doesn't feel very Christian, I do take it very serious. Like in the game, it's like, no, this is your god, like you better not piss him off. You gotta follow their rules. And it's like, otherwise there will be a response, and then I basically incorporate that in the game, right? All depending on the type of deity. I mean, it's complicated, but the point is, as a game master, I would implement these like cosmological learning exposés, like things happening that would teach you about how things actually work in that realm, in that simulated place that we would share the game and play the game in, right? And it just kind of feels like this thing is one of those things, except it's the game of the real world. And the game master is giving us hints about how this works. Right? I mean, and it's kind of interesting too, because that whole radar thing getting blown up and then the waterfall, the giant amount of water coming down, like it's seen, people see it, people have drawn their conclusions, like, whoa, the radar station, were the radar stations like doing geoengineering, keeping it dry, preventing the water from condensating? But it's not official. They're not officially integrating that knowledge. Yeah, it's not like, oh shit, we never realized that, or oh, it seems like yeah, we had a certain weather system there, but yeah, it's not working now, so we don't know what's gonna happen now. And oh, apparently a lot of rain. Like, no, there's just no response. It's like, yeah, they got a lot of rain. Yep. Let's move on. Like, they don't want to address it. They don't want to address, like, that they've potentially, with their technology, kept the Middle East kind of dry. And maybe it's just a default of influence, and it's not like something that they turned on specifically to like weaponize the weather like that, make it dry on purpose, but just a natural standard consequence that was deemed something that, like, it's so necessary to have that instant radar that any weather alteration would still like be worth it. That's probably the way that it originally happened. But I mean, now that they're gone, those radar stations, it's like quite blatant as to their influence. And a lot of people are catching on to this. They're just seeing it. But it's not being addressed officially. It isn't. It's just like, yeah, it's just happening, and yeah, let's move on, and oh, you know, political theater just keeps going. Nobody's really addressing the whole water situation in the Middle East. But, I mean, it's logical, because there's a good chance that if, and it's not going to happen, but if America would somehow get the grip back over the Middle East, and it ain't happening, then of course they just want to build their radars back. But even if they would magically, through divine intervention, somehow gain control back over the Middle East, and I mean, divine intervention or Israel regime change, I mean, I've said it, that could theoretically still turn it around for the US specifically if they did that. Yeah, but I mean, it rather seems it's the opposite. It's rather like Israel's taking control of the US, if you know what I mean. But if the US somehow manages to do a regime change, they can still turn it around. Regime change in Israel. and it would have a lot of backing, like from within Israel, from the entire region, from Europe, of course. I mean, since Israel declared war on Europe recently, crazy. So it would actually restore some credit, give America some opportunity to regain some of that high ground, basically, which it's all lost right now. And then, well, the US at some point might want to build back some radar systems. I mean, and if they're going to build back the exact same ones, well, it's a huge investment. Do these Arabian nations even want it back? Are those radars even useful enough now? Because, yeah, you can just detect the incoming stuff, but does that mean you can stop it? It's like, yeah, we built this new radar. It's the same system. It was a bit cheaper now. And then, like, yes, there's a hypersonic missile incoming. It's coming straight for the radar. Cool, we detected it immediately. It works. And now we can't stop the missile. And boom, it's gone. So is it even useful to build another radar station like that, right? I mean, the overall chances are extremely slim no matter really what plays out in the Middle East at this point. It's just outlived its usefulness. The technology has evolved to a point where those types of radar detection is no longer as relevant, because detection is not enough anymore. Right? The detection in the moment is not even as relevant anymore, because there's now rockets that could just go too fast to stop, even if you did detect them. Right? And there's better ways to also figure out an origin point. Like, where's it coming from? Well, they have high altitude drones and all that spy cams shit up there everywhere. Who knows? They'll call it satellites. Like, that's up there too, so they can like spot where things are coming from without just the radar. The radar would just be like give you like a rough coordinate immediately, and then you go to the satellites and you check out an area and see if you pick up traces of where that came from, right? That's it. Like the radar's just kind of outlived its usefulness, I think. I mean, I am going pure layman here. I am not a military technological expert, really. Not really. I don't know the finer details. But I mean, I think that my rough estimate is correct here. Right. So yeah. I'm gonna try to put that in the title. Yeah. Birds are competing over the water I left out, which is not surprising. Because it's really, really freaking hot out there. But I mean, I will fill it back up as soon as that runs dry. Because in this kind of heat, I'll be refreshing that like at least 3 to 4 times. Right. So yeah, that's a thought. It's still interesting that that's happening. I got a lot of clips today. I don't know if I'm gonna play them all. I got a ton. What the hell is that? Oh yeah. That was bizarre. Got 2 volcano pictures. Craft. Woodcraft. Old fashioned. I love that shit. Like, the simple things are like incredible. We'll get to that. Anyway, yeah, OBS is completely stable today. Glad to see that. And Rumble's also quick. So, yeah, the show is working fine. I watched back yesterday's show, and as I said, the playback was just perfectly smooth. There weren't even any frames missing, so... Hope to do today's show with a little bit more. Hey, hello MB in the house. Burnouts? No. Right. So, let's take a look around quick. Yeah, there's a lot of attention. For like a student complex that got blown up by Ukraine in that massive attack from like, what is it now, a week ago? Before the weekend? Or what? I don't know. Recently, somewhere last week. And I mean, it's really serious. It's like the 3rd article that's about that. 21 students got killed in that. Like, all young Russian students. It's non-military, and it is like... It's like really egregious. It's almost on the level as like, well, the US Trump blowing up that girls' school. And I mean, like, yeah, Russia just recently, yesterday I think, the night before, blew up half of Kiev. And it's completely justified. I don't like it. I think they've mostly targeted military targets because they're not gonna stoop so low as to attack civilians. I mean, Ukrainian civilians are already dwindling in numbers, and like, unlike what the propagandists tell us, Russia actually does not want to have all Ukrainians killed at all. But I mean, they have to just basically break that regime somehow. And figure out the key figures that are keeping it going, that just make it keep happening. And yeah, I don't know exactly how. I'm assuming that they are targeting like tactical military targets, mostly Russia, that is, in Ukraine. I just wish that it would just stop somehow. But I mean, even if it did, And that might be the reason why Putin is basically just like putting it on the long run, like, because the enemy, right? Because yeah, if Ukraine would like end, Zelensky would get arrested and tried, etc. Like Europe, EU, NATO, they're just gonna like pick out another country on the Russian border and then start attacking with that. Like that's what they would do. That's what they're like trying with Bulgaria and all that. They're trying with all those neighboring countries, with Poland and all of it. Just riling them up to like so that they're gonna attack Russia. And so yeah, I mean, if they like end Ukraine, well then the front will just move around. So that seems to be a reasonable logic why Putin wouldn't just like end it. Like take out the key figures, move in and like rush it, occupy the whole thing, and then like annex the government and yeah, put in a temporary replacement until elections. Yeah, like reboot it up, because right now it's just a dictatorship anyway. But then yeah, then the EU, the commissars and NATO, those freaks, they'll just like start sending their weapons and money to another Russian neighboring country. So yeah, what do they do except like hold tight in a sort of bid to hope to deplete morality and finances from the EU mostly, and the US, hold out that way. I just wish there was a better way that wouldn't involve like completely bankrupting the West. It's such a waste. And like that's also, well, basically my tax money that's being given away to Ukraine or for this war. I wish there was just another way to actually just make the EU and NATO just stop. Just how do we make them stop? Right, besides criticizing them and exposing them and like exposing their corruptions, not just their evil intents, but because they're also on top of that all just very arrogant and corrupt. And I guess that's now the approach, is corrupted until they just like slip from the throne or something. But I mean, it's so fucking ugly, and all these people just keep dying out there, and I wish there was a better way to make it stop. I mean, there's also a lot of people here in the Netherlands and around that are just losing their minds to this satanic empire. They're losing it. Like they're young, they can't handle that there's just blatantly evil people on the throne that are just mercilessly evil out in the open. Like there's young people especially, like they can't handle that. They will like by accident just submit to it, like become like Stasi. That's also like how the Stasi work basically. It's like if the leadership is just relentless, there's just a whole bunch of people in different generations that are just going to like choose its side, because it's like, yeah, it's there, somebody's gonna fill that spot like that and lose their soul in the process basically. And I don't want that. I don't want a bunch of freaking soulless Satanists, greedy soulless Satanists, like in that generation, to stand up and like ruin it for our future. They need a good example. They need to have some trust that it's gonna be alright. Instead of just super evil people just flaunting their corruption out in the open and continually like bashing and attacking and pulling down morally the locals, the local population, the whites, as they call it. I mean, that's even to just call it white is like, it's just like race baiting, because it's not white. It's just an overgeneralization. It's just the locals, the original locals. And they happen to be white, mostly. But I mean, the Netherlands, it's always been kind of a mixed people, but yeah, mostly white. And then like a bit mixed in with some colonies and other European countries. I mean, there's like, it's the Netherlands has been always a bit of a melting pot. And I mean, before it became super forced as a concept, like before, like forced get rid of the white population integration, we were already like being a melting pot kind of in the 20th century. We're like early liberal, like just more where your heart goes, that's what you do. Not forcing anything, not setting an example. You have to race mix, not insane Marxist forcing of that. Forcing that sort of anti-culture. We were always like a little bit like looser. But I mean, it doesn't matter like how much you were originally liberal and open and tolerant. Like this satanic Nazi wannabe like neo-feudal club, like the more you're a good people and you're really cooperative and you're really open-minded, the more it seems that the more they just want to exterminate you. It's like they want to exterminate people that are good-natured, go along to get along, that just want everybody to be happy. They just want to kill them off, it seems. Like, it's really fucked up. And it's gonna breed a whole bunch of nasty people where a whole bunch of them are just gonna be like frickin' Stasi. Look at the generation could turn into a bunch of Stasi guys and gals. It's terrible. And that's what happens when it just keeps going and keeps going. And like you grow up as a kid, waking up and then just knowing like, yeah, we're basically completely hijacked by a bunch of psychopaths that are constantly breaking the law, but they can't be held to account for it. It's just the people lost control. That's a really fucked up place to wake up to. And it breaks people's morals. Yeah. They choose the dark side, a lot of it. Like, when I was younger, I sort of almost did that. I sort of did an in-between thing, so I didn't really choose the dark side, but I chose to not choose in a way, which has problems. That's almost like the dark side, and that was in a time when things weren't even that bad. They weren't when I was younger. And I don't like my life is ruined because of the world, man. Like no, my failure was really mine. I feel like I'm the one to blame. Like the way that my personality works, my intolerances, my emotional, more than average fragility. Like yeah, that just made me not really integrate as well and be less tolerant to what you need to tolerate in order to integrate properly. And so it wasn't the fault of the world, but I mean, I can't imagine going through that now. With how things are now, because now it is really fucked up. I can barely imagine like what it must be like to young people right now waking up to the world and just knowing like, wow, we got some real sick people at the helm. Really evil. Like not just deceiving us, false promises, but just like really like foaming at the mouth evil hatred for their own people. Like that's what they are now. It's not literally foaming at the mouth, but I mean, it's basically just one step away from literally that. It's just crazy and relentless and like ideologically obsessed with replacing the whites. It's insane. And like, I fear how the youth responds to this. I mean, you gotta trust God in a way, like, it will work out, but I mean, it must be pretty heavy, man. I had a lot of trouble when I was younger, because for me, that time period is like the early 90s. That's when I went through that time period of challenge, waking up to the world and barely being able to handle it, basically not being able to handle it at the time. And that was still a time when things were kind of good. There was a lot of hope still out there. And things were in development, right? The whole computer age was starting to peak. It was getting really interesting, and there was no social media yet, so there was still a lot of like social abilities everywhere. It was still kind of good. Now it's like, whoa. It's just not the same world anymore. And so with things changing around so dramatically, it's like they must also be, because of that, kind of losing connection to like the rest of the timeline of what happened before this. They must be experiencing some kind of like frequency amnesia where they're so different, and it's just been kind of forced upon you to just be socially, psychologically different. But then you don't match. You become dissonant with the natural frequency of history, of what everybody went through. You no longer respect that. It's very typical, by the way, also for like communist revolutions do that. They just start negating and denying the past in favor of doing something completely different. But then they lose touch with history. And so that the younger generations, they risk that now. To them, our history is going to be more like a myth, because there's not actually anything left of it except for some video recordings and all that old television programs, but that just won't mean anything to the younger generation. It won't do anything. They weren't in it, so they can't pick up on those very specific, subtle feelings that were just naturally there, and they're not now. It's gone. It's all been swept away. And I worry, because the newer generations aren't going to be inclined to try to build back what we got, because what we had doesn't mean anything to them now. So how the hell are we gonna get it back, right? We're not gonna get it back, is what I fear. At best, we could have like a couple of generations, including my own, that would just like be able to take back control, step up to the plate, and then kind of force it to be sort of a little bit more like it was in the 20th century. But the newer generations, they'll brace against that. They will protest, because that way of doing things to them just doesn't have any natural value. Is what I worry about. You get spiritually dislocated, unhinged youth that just will not have respect for any kind of like old-fashioned societal order. And that's a problem. And I worry about it. Anyhow. I'm gonna try to put that in the title. It's just something to keep in mind. Right. So yeah, what a good title. Flat Earth Early Bird 2644 Middle East floods while the US runs dry. Game Master doing an expose on how the realm works and how do we return to the old order when the old values mean nothing to the new youth. It's just something you need to be aware of, right? To avoid idealistic traps. Thinking you could build something back when the components are actually not really there. So whatever you're going to attempt, it's not going to become that then. You got to be realistic. You got to be pragmatic with what you got, right? And I mean, it can eventually return if the now slightly older generations re-imbue newer generations with the old values. It is at least theoretically possible to do that. But I mean, then you really have to protect that youth against government and corporate programming, which will automatically negate that. That's what they are doing. So how do you frickin' isolate a whole generation from that sort of corrupting influence? That's difficult, if not completely impossible at this point. Frickin' schooling laws and all that, and how do you prevent the corruption from being forced in, you see? It's very difficult. Anyway, hope you're all having a good day. Don't worry too much. Right. There's one thing though. Look, even newer generations, even though they do not have, they have not touched the old values and they mean nothing to them, doesn't mean that they won't have natural instincts from God to tell them when people that are supposedly on their side are being extremely evil and corrupt. Like, they will see through that and they'll be like, I don't like this as a representative. Like, sure, they have my values, but they're obviously evil and corrupt on top of that. So they're still gonna see that. You don't have to worry, like, at some point, like, a generation will be so deprogrammed that they'll literally not even recognize what crime is anymore. They will, because that's instinctual. It reemerges. You have to actively deprogram it with constant influence and trauma tricking to get it out, to numb it down to the point that it doesn't function anymore. If you don't do that, it will just naturally, those instincts will naturally reemerge and grow. Like a natural born alignment with God, with the natural order. Right? Doesn't mean, specific religion. No, it's just the mechanisms and the frequencies and all that stuff. Because to me, God is not about a religion of some kind. No, those religions are actually like attempts to solidify the ethereal, to solidify that God, to narrow it down a lot, to make it more tangible, so that people that have trouble grasping the ethereal and the spiritual, that they can still get it. It's like religion in a lot of ways is just spirituality oversimplified and guided by strict rules. For people that just don't have as much of a natural feel for it all. People that can't handle the freedom. Because with freedom comes responsibility, and with responsibility also becomes seductions from Lucifer to wriggle you loose from those responsibilities and think of it differently, and then you corrupt. Yeah. And yeah, religion gives you a system and a community usually that basically tells you on what to do, how to avoid straying into corruption. Like, that's one of the main functions of every religion. It's like, how do you not corrupt? Well, first you have to identify that it's there, tell a story about it, and they do, especially in the Bible and all that, and show you what happens, and then you can learn, and then you become aware, and you deal with it thanks to that religion. Like, it doesn't even matter whether all those things are literally true or historically accurate. It doesn't matter. What matters is the lessons that it brings, and the elusive and ethereal that it provides a good grasp on. Right? So yeah, somebody realizing God can mean that they suddenly really feel a need to connect up with other people that do that, and then they join a religious community, like a church or something like that. And then they figure it out, like, hey, this is my crowd, these are my people, or like, I'm searching here, and then eventually, like, this is not really my place. They might choose another group or become solitary. Well, that's kind of what I am. I'm solitary. I went to the Mormon church for a while, and I really felt like it was great. I'm still thankful for that time. And they did actually help me. They really did. And they're like great people. I kind of admire them. They're not foolproof, though. They have cuck tendencies. That's a problem. But they're good. And they're very family reinforcing. They're really all about the family, and I admire that. So yeah, a religious community is just it's a community. You can share your spirituality with them, and not feel so alone in that. And then either master it, become like a master of a group like that, but really like go for being a priest or whatever, be a functionary in it, or it's just like your crowd of people and you do your own thing. Or you go through a learning journey and then eventually you figure out like, yeah, I don't really belong here. It's all fine. Right? The most important in the end is that you just realize that God exists and that it is ethereal and that it has to do with the design of the entire realm, and that the devil is out there to fool us, to assist men that follow their own bad instincts, their greed and their controls, obsession, to create a reversed world, to lie to everybody, to convince you of everything that is the opposite of real, to get more easy control over them, to be able to social engineer them. That's what they're doing, and the church can provide a stable anchor to avoid some of that. I don't know where I'm going with this. It's religion, God, realizing God. It's important, right? But realizing God doesn't mean a religion. It's like God is separate from religion. It's there and it's part of our spirit. Our spirit functions, and it is just how the design works, and that because of how the design works, there are certain rules. Those rules are based on systems that all of us don't necessarily have a full grasp on, because they go very far and they're very detailed and very complicated. And if you don't have all the insight, you don't really know what's going on. But it's definitely there. And for me, it's just like, I'm just trying to figure out what's actually going on, right? And then I come to interesting conclusions, like, hey, those special type of UFOs, light balls you see, meteor activity, yes, I get a feeling, and a lot of it is feeling, that it's actually God. And it just sounds kind of weird when you say that, right? But I really do. I think it is directed by God. It's divine intervention technology, and it has been used throughout history to give off signs to people, and potentially to do more, to do energy influence things with it. And that's what I think it is. And I think it has been hijacked partially, or hijacked, back engineered, and by fallen angels, and then they've left things behind, and then later dug up again and back engineered again, and so we're basically, whatever UFO technology that we humanity have our hands on, it's basically from fallen angels. But the fallen angels got it from God, you see. So it's originally just divine technology. And that it has a significance. Especially since it's still being used by God. Anyway, hope everybody's having a good day. Hope you're not cooking too much. It is hot out there. Don't forget to stay hydrated. And Rogan's up my show. Hope you're appreciating it. I'm going to take a smoke outside on the shady, nice balcony. taking another look outside, and there really is not a single cloud around. Not a single one. It is amazing. Hope you're having a nice day like that too. Let me know in the chat. Don't forget, tomorrow there's not going to be a show on this Wednesday because I'll be having an appointment, and I mean by the time I'm back it's already going to be like past 3 and all that. Maybe I'll do like a bonus slightly later than early bird show. If I really feel like it, if it's went really well and I got all the kinds of energy, then I might still do a show. Otherwise, I'm just gonna take it easy tomorrow, and then I'll be back on Thursday. Much better on the balcony. Interesting. This is the Dutch article here about omega-free fats, difference between fish oil, krill oil, and algae oil. Interesting. Informative. They put fish oil on the cheapest category. And I mean, yeah. But I mean, I have, well, it's not like typical omega-3 oriented, but there's some of the products are algae, astaxanthin. And I mean, yeah, it is expensive, so that makes sense. They do say it is the most expensive one. Krill oil being in the middle. But I mean, finding good krill oil is like kind of tough to even find that, so... Anyway. Maybe we should start to go through some of the clips. Hope everybody's out there having a great day. Don't forget to Rogan's it up if you're liking the show. Let's play some clips. Here's woodworking on how to make a well very basic. Great.
Good.
2
I'll touch
minutes.
me. Du bist krumm.
Slightly sped up.
Passt, back up. Amateurstumm. So, machen wir los langsam noch. Auf. So, gut ist. Auf. Gut. Over. Oh, mach du weiter. Jetzt lass mich noch durchschauen. Gut. Einer passt. Aus. Gibt's irgendwie Schallung drauf? Oh, das links auf fertig.
Ja, den habe ich schon. So, lesen gleich.
Oh, die passt. Wir gehen aber Brunko wie auch wollt.
Eine Stunde.
Ist schon recht.
I think these are Germans. Crushing it.
Auf!
So simple. Such a simple system. Great. I really appreciate it. Like, that's the kind of lore that really holds up. Right. Well, yeah, here, there's just some volcano eruption. And then a freaking green fireball just suddenly comes out. And there's like multiple angle footage of that too. Because people were filming like, ooh, volcano. And then literally, just look at this. What? 19 seconds. But there's multiple angles to this too. And here it comes. Whoa. Am I right? That's something you don't see every day. Just take a look at that again. Hey, come on. Really? Ugh. OBS can't handle it. Let's do that again. Skip. And there you go. Whoa. I mean, just whoa. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. Right. What was this about? Not sure. I think it's Tartaria related. Let's see.
Oh, so you thought what was discovered under the Great Pyramids was a one-off thing and we were going to be done with it? Well,
oh yeah!
Guess again, because what was just discovered under Angkor Wat in Cambodia might just blow your minds. And if you guessed the exact same structures that are underneath the pyramids, well then you guessed correctly. Because yes, these scans have indicated the exact same type structures underneath Angkor Wat in Cambodia. Now,
What?
here's the thing. Some suppressed scripts have been translated stating that Angkor Wat was never built for religious purposes. It was in fact grown by an advanced race known as the Star Kings. We're not going to go into that in this video, but here's the other thing. It also states that...
It's literally the Fallen Angels. I mean, come on. It's obvious. Yeah?
Angkor Wat is one of 4 world engine sites. One of 4 meaning Angkor Wat, the Great Pyramids, Teotihuacan, and a site that's submerged under the coast of India, off the coast of India. Now, these world engines were meant to ignite during a cosmic alignment, therefore opening a world portal to what is below. I don't know what's below, but I think that's fantastic. Now, these also were supposed to allow everlasting world energy throughout our entire world, as well as transportation and healing. So I find this to be absolutely fantastic news, because I believe in the days to come, or at least the months to come, we're going to find out that all these religious sites aren't religious sites, but they're portals. Portals to something beyond our own thought process. Now, tell me what you think. Have you heard this? Drop it in the comments. Remember, I'm not here to tell you to believe one thing.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, cool. I guess there are those type of subterranean spiral chambers beneath Angkor Wat as well. So they figured out. I don't know where he's getting his info from, but I mean, he could have just made this up, but it probably not. They probably did do that, and I would not be surprised. I just probably, like most people, thought like, no, it's probably going to be pretty unique with the pyramids, but I guess it's not completely unique with the pyramids. There's other sites too that have it. That's interesting. Oh yeah. This is pretty cool. It's like training a little kid to do a backflip on a motorcycle. This is a pretty cool video. Let's see, how long was it? Yeah, it's 4.5 minutes. I don't know, maybe I'll save it for later. But yeah, like, it's a pretty cool video. Just like dad and friends are like really motivating him a lot and just pushing him to keep going, and it's pretty epic. Like, he eventually does make like a pretty damn amazing backflip, and he's like 9 years old. That's crazy. That's pretty cool. What's this about? Oh yeah, talking about data centers, rivers running dry. Yeah, this guy.
All right, folks, I'm currently standing in the Rio Grande River right now. This is what it looks like right here, all dirt. All dirt. You're looking at an environmental catastrophe, what this is. The new Meta data center in Los Lunas, New Mexico, takes 75 million gallons per year to cool down the data center. And this is what we're left with. Another data center is being built in El Paso right now, a Facebook Meta data center. How much more water is that going to take? This is going to be, folks, this is apocalyptic. This is, I've never seen a river like this. By this time of the year, you couldn't even swim in this. It would take you under. The undercurrent would take you out. This is unbelievable. No more water. So what does that mean for the farmland, the ranch lands, the cattle, the houses? I mean, are they soon going to start moving people out of this area? Are they going to start moving people out of here to what, 15-minute cities? You're not going to be able to survive out here? What's going to happen to the agriculture? Folks, what we're looking at here is unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this before. I'm sounding the alarm bells. This has never before happened. I've never seen it like this. Bone dry. Bone dry. All of it. Unbelievable. Better write your congressman, because these politicians are as corrupt as they come, all getting paid off for this. So what does this mean? We're going to trade out humanity for AI so they can track and trace you better? And who's bringing this in? Well, it looks like to me, Trump is taking down the deep state, right? He's going after Obama, he's going after everybody, but he's replacing it with AI data centers, ruining the environment. This used to be a gushing river. It's gone. If we don't do something now, folks, humanity's screwed. I'm telling you that right now. We are screwed.
Yeah, I mean, humanity, America at least, and everybody, Europe too, will be affected, is what it is. Right? What was this about? Oh yeah, it's a chick got into a bit of Rudolf Steiner. I always appreciate that when women bring up Rudolf Steiner. It's like, ooh yeah. I always like that. Let's see what she has to say.
This is $1 billion fine, and I'm not talking about
2
Nazi
minutes.
being National Zionist. That should be common sense. Picture these people as wearing a turbine on their head, and I know that that's not the right word. Eliminating the soul. In the future, we will eliminate the soul with medicine under the pretext of a healthy point of view. There will be a vaccine by which the body will be treated as soon as possible, directly at birth, so that the human being cannot develop the thought of the existence of soul and spirit.
Just for the record, this is something Rudolf Steiner said arguably over 100 years ago. Yeah? That's how early this guy was with this lore. I mean, Rudolf Steiner is just mind-blowing what he figured out is such an early stage. He was, in that sense, almost like a prophet. Right? Not Abrahamic, but I mean, I do kind of see it like that.
To materialistic doctors will be entrusted the task of removing the soul of humanity. As today, people are vaccinated against this disease or that disease. So in the future, children will be vaccinated with a substance that can be produced precisely in such a way that people, thanks to this vaccination, will be immune to being subjected to the madness of spiritual life. Anything with a label, bro. Ibuprofen. This is how I felt my whole life until I started using grass and plants for everything and nothing with a label. Consider it a label is a pacifier. Don't date a guy with a binky in his mouth, bro. No. Be careful what you put in your body. You're going to let him put his DNA in you, and he's got a binky in his mouth. With such a vaccine, okay, he would be extremely smart, but he would not develop a conscience, and that is the true goal of some materialistic circles, satanic cults. With such a vaccine, you can easily make the etheric body loose in the physical body. I don't know if I'm saying that word right. Once the etheric body is detached, the relationship between the universe and the etheric body would become extremely unstable. That's your connection to what's going on in the world, bro. It's your pineal gland. And man would become an automaton for the physical body.
Automaton. That's okay.
Body of man must be polished on this earth by spiritual will. So the vaccine becomes a kind of Aramanic force. Man can no longer get rid of a materialistic feeling. He becomes materialistic of constitution, addicted to money and people, and can no longer rise to the spiritual occasion. Rudolf Steiner, 1861 to 1925. If you got a label in your hand right now, get off my page.
Yeah. Man, that Rudolf Steiner died over 100 years ago in 1925. So it's over 100 years old. Phew. Yeah. Right. What was this? Oh yeah. Footage up close of a volcano. Like as it's erupting. Pretty awesome. I've never seen this before. Like in animations, but not actually real footage. Real living footage. This is a drone hovering over a volcano, filming it as it is about to explode, basically. Pretty epic. See, it's already overflowing, pouring out on the side there. Yikes. And that's when you do not want to be here, where the camera is. If you just see this, get the fuck out of there. But I mean, it's a drone filming it, so. And I'd imagine it's live transferring the video, because there's a good chance it actually gets burned at some point, because it's right above a volcanic eruption. Right? Anyway. So, and this is the last clip for today, and then I'm gonna round out the show. Funny little detail about Back to the Future that I've never realized before. It's very accurate. Like, it's an absolute plot breaker. It's hilarious. And I never realized this before. Like, I missed it. And it's totally true.
It's a fucking terrible movie. Back to the Future 2 sets up the rule that if you go back in time and change the past, then go forward in time, you're going to now be in timeline B. So the whole premise of the movie is you have to go back in time to before that change happened, which is Biff giving himself the almanac, so that you can go back to timeline A, right? That's the premise of the movie. That's the rule that they set. However, at the beginning of the fucking movie, they go to 2015. Old Biff steals the time machine car. What's it called? The DeLorean, thank you. He steals the DeLorean and leaves Doc and Marty in timeline A's 2015. He goes back to 1965, gives himself the almanac. That then creates timeline B. Young Biff has the almanac. Old Biff takes the time machine and he goes into the future to timeline A, which he can't do because he gave Biff the almanac. He would go to timeline B's future where Biff runs the fucking world. But in the beginning of the movie, he goes back, gives the almanac to old Biff, and then he travels back to give the time machine back to Doc and Marty, who are in timeline A. That can't happen. Doc and Marty are stuck in timeline A's 2015 because Biff can never bring that fucking DeLorean back to them because he gave the almanac to his younger self. He would only go to the future in timeline B. The whole movie can't happen. It's bullshit, and everyone needs to know this. I will die on this hill. I hate that fucking movie.
I don't hate it. I think it's actually great. But he is technically correct. And I missed it. But I mean, yeah, it's totally correct. Like, it's actually a logic break. It's a plot hole, as they call. But I mean, it's still awesome, though. Right? The only way that Biff could have returned it is by leaving it. Because then you get like, okay, if he leaves it there... Yeah, but even that could be a problem, because you don't really know what, like, you could leave it there and then they could find it in the future, but I mean, that future technically wouldn't even be happening anymore, so how would anything that happens in that past from that change vantage point on result in anything in the future of the old timeline? It really does, like, kind of run into a dead end, which is probably why Steven Spielberg left it in there, because he just couldn't fix it. It's just try to, like, sneak it past you, hope it doesn't break the flow. And it doesn't. Like, you really have to think about it to realize it doesn't work. So the movie is great. I love Back to the Future 2. It's awesome. But yeah, Steven Spielberg probably couldn't fix the issue, the plot hole, so he just left it in there. Because he couldn't fix it. If everything would have played out exactly as the time logic system dictates, then that would have been the end of the movie. They would just be stuck there and in a future that doesn't even exist anymore. Could never get out. Unless they, like, reinvent a time machine and build it from scratch. That would have been the only way to get out of it. Right? Which is, I mean, theoretically that would be possible, but I mean, yeah. It certainly would break the flow of the movie, if you know what I mean. So they have to spend like a decade in the future just to build a freaking time machine just to get back. So yeah. I guess that would be the only way to do it. But yeah, it's just left in there. I mean, it's funny. And I've never spotted it before. It's hilarious. And no, it does not work. Guys, the mushroom guy here is just being a bitch. Right. Yeah, I'm gonna play that motivational video with the 9-year-old doing the bike jumps. You should check it out. It is 4.5 minutes though. I'm just gonna roll a smoke. Enjoy it. Damn.
Oh, this setup's dialed. This is where you started learning them? And then what, you just went to the bag and then you started putting the wood?
It wasn't that sturdy, so I put the board under.
Oh, right here?
Way sturdy.
Yeah. It looks dialed. It's pretty steep too. Yo, that thing kind of rips, huh? That thing rips. I've never seen the big one in person.
You haven't?
Uh-uh.
They're nice.
No, that thing's way nice.
Except, I mean, I wish they kind of had back suspension.
Yeah, they
'Cause
should.
it's kind of weird, like jumping with only front suspension.
It's like a hardtail bike.
Yeah.
But they're like made for kids. They didn't think dudes were gonna be doing backflips on them, so that's the thing. But you'll be the youngest doing backflips on them.
Whoa, you can go.
Was that rip?
Oh, me, I flipped that out.
Just pull the board first, go to the bag,
Yeah,
and then when you feel comfy, you throw the board back. Oh, you're dialed. No problem. Oh, jacket's coming off. Here, hand it to me. I don't want you to get that thing dirty. You're all factory now.
No, it's already got hay in it. So
There you go.
there.
And he's out. All right, we'll see you outside. Oh, so close. You good? Look at that. He's up. This guy's unfazed.
It's the same thing, man. You got it.
Same pull, same rotation. This will probably come around faster. Oh, yeah. That's the setup.
I mean, how they're doing it, that's how I learned horseback riding. Not that I did somersaults with my horse or anything, but did jump over obstacles, and you get slung off it, you fall off, you just get back up immediately. And so, yeah. I never did any stunts with motorcycles like this. But I mean, when I was horseback riding, and I was kind of that age, I was 9 when I was doing that, and they're big freaking horses and things go wrong. I've literally seen other kids being hauled off to an ambulance to the hospital because shit went wrong. Okay? Never happened to me though. I mean, I did get smacked to the ground a couple of times, but I never really got hurt. Thank God. My mother actually did at one point. We did a ride with the family, my dad, my mom, and me. It was very special. And then shit went wrong, and she literally had a hernia from that. And after that point, our family's enthusiasm for horseback riding was over. But yeah, I recognize it from that a bit. Anyway, let's continue.
Oh, you had it. Let's go. Yes.
You got it right here.
Good yank. You got it. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. Dial.
Dude, you got it, man. You got to be confident in yourself. You got it, man. You have it, bro. Look at you. You are a superstar. You are so good.
You're the man.
Amazing, dude. Think about that. You have so many kids that look up to you and strive to be just like you. Let's give them something special right here.
Yeah, you're dialed, man. fired up. You're about to do a backflip. Oh. You good?
You got it right now, dude. You have it. Hands don't slip off. Them damn medium gloves.
Yeah, just hang on to that thing because it's got more juice, so you weren't used to it. Really grip that thing.
Do it right now. Dude, you got this.
Yes!
Dude, you got it, dude. You just landed a one-handed backflip.
Yeah! Let's go! Let's go! Dude, yes! You just backflip, bro! You just backflip! Let's go! Yes! Leaks! Dude, you had it! You had it! Youngest dude to ever backflip a dirt bike, dirt to dirt. Yes! Easy!
Where are we, Lee? On top of the world!
Fired up! No one's beating that. You are the man!
Holy shit.
Dude, hell yes.
Dude.
You're the man! Dude, good job, bro. You're awesome.
Pretty epic, right? Definitely, yeah, it just gave me a good feeling. Pretty awesome. Right, I think I went through all the videos now. Yeah, I did. Yep. Right. So yeah, I'm gonna be running out. Just finishing this smoke and then I'm gonna run out. Yeah, I'm very happy with both Rumble and OBS working really smooth today. Awesome. I got a whole bunch of new followers, by the way, so thanks for subscribing. Hope you're liking the show. I know it's not really a typical professional type of stream, but I mean, it's all live. This is just what I do, and sometimes I take my time, sometimes I take a break, and I don't show you any ads or play videos while I'm gone, desperately trying to hold your attention. It's just, that's not how I work. I'm just raw. That's what I do. Hope you all appreciate it. And if you do, don't forget to Rogan's it up. Right, so I'm rounding out. Thanks everyone for coming. Hope you liked the show. If you did, then please don't forget to Rogan's it up. And if you haven't already, follow me here on Rumble and be here when I'm going live. which is normally 2 p.m. Amsterdam time every day. And please also do support me through the gift card, PayPal, Patreon, gifts, and the links are on the description box below, or send me super chat over at the Rumble live chat when the show is live, or subscribe to my channel. Support me that way. Any support would be greatly appreciated. I can really use it. Right. Yeah, I will not be back tomorrow because I'm gonna have an appointment. Maybe I'll do, just on the off chance, I'll do a show a bit later or not. Probably, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I have that important appointment pretty much right around when I would normally do the show this Wednesday, and I will be back the day after on a Thursday, 2 p.m. Amsterdam time. Hope to see you all then, and keep a lookout if I happen to do a stream tomorrow or later. Everybody have a great rest of this Tuesday and Wednesday if I don't see you tomorrow, and until the next video, keep it